Today is a very exciting day for everyone as we celebrate the opening of the CIDEA Plus Instructional and Research Laboratory here at MSU IIT. Thank you everyone for being here with us at the Center for Sustainable Polymers conference room, as this marks an exciting milestone for all of us. It is a symbol of growth, hard work, and a promise for a brighter future. Let us take this moment to appreciate the efforts of everyone who made this possible. We'd like to acknowledge and introduce to everyone our guests. From CIDEA Plus, we have the President, Mr. Hideki Takamatsu. And the Corporate Secretary, Mr. Japet Maay. The Corporate Treasurer, Mr. Atsushi Matsuo. The CIDEA Admin Manager, Mr. Toro Nikishi. Senior Engineer, Miracel Ju. And IT Associate, Ezekiel Jordan. From the CHED, or the Commission of Higher Education, Regional Office, Dr. Desiderio Apag, the Chief Administrative Officer representing the Regional Director, Dr. Freddy Bernal. From the Department of Science and Technology, Region 10 Provincial Director, Engineer Roy Sagrado, representing DOST 10 Director, Romelia Redelia. And a friend from the media, from PIA, led by Ms. Lou Ellen Antonio. And of course, the contractor and designer of the laboratory, James Arquitectura, managed by architect James Oliva. Sorry, Olivar. Olivar? Oh, I'm so sorry. All right. Now to formally welcome us this afternoon, here is the Dean of the College of Engineering, Professor Maria Sheila Ramos.
The mother Ramos.
Good afternoon, everyone. So, Steph has already mentioned everyone except our people from MJOID. So I would like to acknowledge our newly installed Vice Chancellor for OSISM Strategic Initiatives, Dr. Mark Torres. Now we have, of course, with us our Vice Chancellor for Research and Enterprise, Dr. Efrain Vidil. My classmate. Yeah, my classmate. Then our beloved and our visionary and ever-supported Chancellor, we have Professor, Attorney, Anisili Tokalan, sir. And of course, our Chief of Staff with the Chancellor, the beautiful Madame Michelle is also with us here. Dr. Jean Peralta, the Department Chair of SCE, and of course, Dr. Jefferson Mora, the lead faculty for this endeavor, and all the faculty of SCE and the students, of course, and the RAs of the ECE team. So good afternoon and welcome. Today marks a momentous occasion as we officially launch the Philippine League and United Solutions Plus Inc. Instructional and Research Laboratory here in MJOID. I've been telling our guests a while ago that this is among our dreams at MJOID. And CIDEA Plus, you have one of our dreams come true because of you. Thank you very much. So this facility is more than a space for learning and discovery. It represents the power of collaboration between academia and industry, which is among the strength of the College of Engineering, and the critical role of innovation we place in our future course. This launch comes at a pivotal time as global initiatives like the CHIPS and Science Act of the US emphasize the importance of advanced research and technological development. This PLUS Lab will equip us to be prepared for the impacts and implications of this CHIPS Act to the Philippine economy in particular. This lab will provide a platform for breakthrough research in science, engineering, and technology, while preparing our students to become the next generation of leaders and innovators. This partnership between MSORIT and PLUS is a powerful example of how industry and academia can unite to create spaces that foster learning, research, and development. Through the establishment of this facility, despite the challenges for space requirement here at the College of Engineering, we are not only enhancing the learning experience of our students, but also creating a hub for high-impact research that contribute to technological advancements and address real-world challenges. This lab will surely be a plus for our efforts toward accrediting the BSECE program to Washington for very soon. In parallel with this PLUS initiative, 6 of our engineering faculty, and 2 of them are here, Jeff and Steph, are currently engaged in rigorous blended mode training with ETSI of Arizona State University, focusing on curriculum development and CDP. They started 3 days ago, am I right, Steph? And will hopefully end by February of next year. This is, I think they already expressed that they are already stressed about their training. Furthermore, another industry partner is working closely with our computer engineering team to develop short training programs with potential micro-credential opportunities. And we have been talking to them lately very closely though. They will also be donating millions worth of laboratory facilities for embedded systems. So PLUS is into design. This time we have this embedded systems group. Similar to PLUS, they aim to ensure our students are equipped with plug-and-play readiness upon graduation. So we extend our deepest gratitude to PLUS, sirs, and supporters for your unwavering support. As I mentioned earlier ago, you made one of our dreams come true. This was just a dream ago, long time ago, So to Dr. Jefferson, so we have our Vice Chancellor acknowledging the arrival of our Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs, Dr. Pamela Resurrection, our boss at the college, Attorney Edgar Alan Danasco, sir. Thank you for coming over. Okay, may I again thank PLUS Incorporated for your unwavering support to us. To Jeff Bora and his team at SE, the beautiful and sexy SE people, we sincerely thank you for your resolute dedication and the tremendous efforts you have put forward in advancing this initiative. It's not that easy, but you really went through this. Your steadfast commitment is truly appreciated. Thank you so much, ACE. Together, we will drive progress, innovation, and economic development, both locally and beyond. Thank you, and welcome once again.
Thank you very much for those welcoming words, Dean. We do not feel any pressure at all. But it's all right. There's a bright future, not just for us here at the Academy, but for our students as well, who will go on to the world and influence the future, right, Chancellor? All right. Now, to give us the rundown of this project is the head for the Center for Integrated Circuits Design. Please welcome Professor Jefferson Hora.
I believe everyone has been greeted, and my role now is just to walk you through the history milestone, and hopefully you will be able to stay with me because this is something a very pivotal experience that we have right now. 1 minute, that's it. So, let me have the first slide, please. Alright. So, I graduated Bachelor 2002, and it so happened that when I came back 8 years after, the same laboratory, same space, the same, in the pictures that we have seen right now, without any support. And it so happened that there should be a change. And there is a big role of the government funding. And 2 years after, we got the USDIC project, and we built somehow a research facility for the undergrad. And years after that, after 5 years, another research funded USX line, able to provide us another space for the graduate program to provide and open us for the research activities. And another 2 activities, 2 funding coming from same funding agency, the USDP Shared and USDGIA, 2018 and 2022, for developing another space, and that is now to have what we call as microelectronics conference room, and moving further the lab, and we are now lucky that the industry are now involved in this, not only the government funding. And thank you, CDIA Plus, because it's been a long so it's the first industry partner realized that a lab project since we commenced or we tried to really push for the microelectronics research activities 2010. 5 years after that, it's really my dream to really have some industry inside the university. I chased industry partners. I've been roaming around in Metro Manila, giving a chance for big companies like maybe next week. For this big company here, I will not mention the name, it may be your competitor somehow. So, big companies in NCR, around 5 to 6 companies, I really roam around and try to present that trying to provide some opportunities for our graduates here in Mindanao. Not only providing opportunities in the NCR and Visayas region. Noting that the semiconductors are not really visible here in the southern part of the country. So, the formula here is just consistency. We're not weekend. We try to push and improve further so that industry will be able to see us in the southern part of the country because talents are really abundant here. And one of that is Japit Bahay, this alumnus of Iwisho IIT. So, came by surprise, early 2023, Japit able to connect with me that something like a plan of CDIA Plus, and I mentioned to him that it's not something new to me. It's now a dream come true because there are some rejections coming from other companies. Maybe I don't know the reason why, but they supported other universities. See the pictures here, the UP Diliman Group. They have also supported UST, and also the MIT Mapua. And it's now equated to one big university initial IIT with one big company also, right? Thank you for that. So, it's a dream come true for us to move forward. So, just to walk you through that, early 2023, they visited here and hired around 15, I guess it's around 15 graduates, right? Mr. Mansoler, the admin, HR that time. So, here you are, there in the picture. And months after that, the delegation of CDIA visited, and it is being hosted by our academic affairs. That time, Vice Chancellor Metilio, and now our Vice Chancellor for Research Enterprise. And that was August 2023. And months after that, just 2 months after, right? And the realization of the MOA, we went to BGC with Chancellor and the team, and it commenced now the planning. It took around 5 months for really rigorous planning on how to really design the lab. So it's a
very, very good lunch.
yeah, very, very good lunch. And now we don't have lunch. Thank you, Chancellor. You reminded us.
You see the very beautiful pocket.
Thank you for that, Mr. Takamanso, for really housing us and providing us a big lunch. Alright, so, and it is somehow in 5 years in the making the design, and our partner, contractor, headed by James Olivar, so really realize what is in the picture and have it really what is should be in the actual picture. So that is somehow around 4 to 5 months in the making, and it started April 8 to be exact, and we finished within 3 months of construction. And in between to that, I'm really so surprised that Matsuo and Gishi visited within that construction time twice, just to really check even an inch difference in the drawing line, that there should be something like this missing. So I really very appreciative for that, because you really monitored the construction even without me monitoring anything now, something like that. So thank you for that, Gishi and Matsuo, for really monitoring the progress of the lab. Anyway, so let me walk you through with why we are doing this. So there is really a dearth of the IC design globally. The global trade war between the US and Taiwan, you know, the reason behind this is really the shortage of production of IC. Now, the reason is there's no talent that you could really tap. And this is why industry are really tapping universities to help them grow. Because without talent, there's no growth in that. There's no expansion, because the ICT design is very rich in knowledge skill set. You need to have at least masters and PhD to innovate something. But the question there is that where is the input? Bachelors should be on the ground, ready to be somehow elevate their knowledge for masters and PhD. So just imagine 2030, we target about 900,000 of semiconductors engineers, and one of that is the king rule is the IC designer. So how to move forward? Chip Act 2022 as mentioned by our very own team. So this is somehow creating helpful incentives to produce semiconductors and scientists act. It is a $280 billion funding by the US. And I guess around 50 billion of that is on the research and development of the semiconductor. And how to play role for this in the Philippines. So now, Malaysia declared 60,000 of engineers in the next, what the year is that? In the next 4 to 5 years, right? We announced in 2024, this year, last May 28. And what about Vietnam? Vietnam is now soaring high. Before Intel left here, we already have the big investments coming from Intel, but now Intel's moved to Vietnam, and there are around 40 IC design companies already last year. So I witnessed the growth of Vietnam because I attended the Vietnam Business Summit last year. And look at the Philippines, when we launched the microelectronics, there are only around 5 local IC design in the country. Plus is just here around 2017, right, somehow. And look at the numbers of semiconductors IC design in Vietnam right now, so also soaring high. And they are committed to produce around 5,000 IC designers engineers in the next 4 to 5 years, and a total of 30 to 50,000 of IC engineers and semiconductors IC designers. That would be in the next also next 5 to 6 years. Now, what about Philippines? It's an big number being practiced by BBM. Just imagine 128,000 in 2028. That is 4 years from now. Right? Just imagine it's triple the numbers of Malaysia and Vietnam. And 1/3 of that for sure would be on the front end side and the IC semiconductor IC design. And even that 1/3 is a big number. And that is why, because of the practice, BOI take that somehow, there's a challenge coming from the BOI. We're so glad coming from the MSUIT was staffed to be a member of that initiative to really create the workforce to prepare the Philippines for that promised 128,000. And the workforce development plan would like to really focus on the target of the masters and PhD, and that is somehow around 1,000 of MS and PhD per year in the field of IC design. And how many universities are on this? I guess it's really stronghold only is initial IIT and UP demand. That's why we have the CIDR project funded by UST. Now, the challenge is that how to make this Philippine visible at a global semiconductor landscape. Right? So we would like to really push for try to really allow you to understand that IC design is the top of the food chain. Meaning that it's really rich in knowledge skill sets that everyone should have at least MS and PhD. But the thing is, we don't have it the foundation. No bachelor that is focused on that. That's why I really invited Chen, allow us to grow that BS Microelectronics will be the possible solution to this. Same as on the BS Bio, that you have BS Microbiology. Somehow, this is something that a lot of professional group are going to resist because there's no PSG, there's no COPC, but I believe this is one way of the solution that we could be able to really get into that number. And also the UST is so thankful because they're continuously giving us the funding to really attract industry that this is something that we could do better and we could improve the landscape here in the country. So with that, you try to see that it's a top food chain within for sure everything of the foundation, the different fields, the IC design, because IC design, just like a doctor, you need to be specialized in the RNet, mixed signal, analog and digital. Something should be done in the graduate level. So I hope that promoting IC design is now our mission. We're going to play a big role that companies is now moving in southern part of the country. CBIA will be the first of its kind that it is now visible and now within the university. So it is not only for eventuality, you're not the first, but first in Mindanao, as I would say, right? Because we are leading the IC design landscape here in the southern part of the country. And I hope that companies will really coming over. You have some, I don't know, friendly competitor. The other company is already there, Cagayan de Oro. I will also going to invite more so that graduates will not really move to Visayas and NCR. Adding more footprints. The talent is really abundant here. We have bright engineers, just like Miracel, our graduate 2014-15 as your lead engineer, right? Something, and we could add that more somehow. And our key recommendation to the Philippines that it is now happening. I presented this, let's say, the roadmap when I spoke in our let's say, professional group last year. Wherein this is the way for us to move forward. And I'm so happy that industry and university research collab is now really happening, working so closely. And there's still a lot to do, but we are in the facing of realizing all of these things. So with that, I would like to thank PLAS for really providing us the CIDIA PLAS instructional and the research lab. And I would like to thank everyone for coming over, especially special mention our architect to really the last minute there's a retouching and changing of the title itself. So thank you for all of support with the comment coming from our funding partners and also with the chair, not director but soon. So our admin officer from Region 10 helped us to really allow us that we could able to offer this. This would be our first somehow announcement this coming November 29. The US is funding us around 500,000 to launch the possibility that a new offering will be offered, and that would be somehow with the help of Chen. And that would be the first Mindanao Microelectronics Symposium and Forum. And hoping that we will be the pipeline of talents here in the southern part of the country. And UST Sir Roy Sagrado, thank you sir, in behalf of Ma'am Director Catelia, who supported us for the first Microelectronics Symposium is coming November. And with that, thank you for attending. I forgot to mention our attorney Lunasco, who helped us for the MOA and also for the deed of donation that hopefully could be somehow polished within the month. Sir, any commitment?
Thank Thank you very much, Professor Mora, for giving us an inside look of the project. It is amazing how far your vision has come, no? You said it was only a dream, and now the dream has been realized. And I hope that the students and the faculty who will use this laboratory will have more breakthroughs in it. All right? Now, our dear Chancellor has graced us with his presence this afternoon. Everyone, please give a round of applause for the MSU IIT Chancellor, Professor Attorney Alizani Gitkalan.
Thank you very much. I'll make my message shorter because I know that the Dean has already said what I'm supposed to say this afternoon. And Professor Mora has also explained comprehensively the roadmap and the direct trajectory of IC design in the country. But I'd rather take this opportunity to really express our gratitude to Media Plus for this project. This is also one of my aims as Chancellor, really to see corporate laboratories inside the university. And because of CDA Plus, because of Plus, we now have this facility. So to President Hideki Kamakatsu, arigatou gozaimasu. Thank you very much for this project. I know that as we had explained during the meeting we had in Manila, this is just the beginning of, I think, of a bigger collaborations between our institution, between the university and your company. We hope to see that eventually this is not just a learning space, but in the near future, we would like also to see really a real integrations of learning and the theoretical practice within your company. I think, if I recall, that's supposed to be the original plan that we'd like to have, to put up an office here in Mindanao State University where our student can also do their internship. But I'm also excited that hopefully we can also realize that in the near future. I would like to take a challenge to the microelectronics department, the electronics department. Hopefully that this facility will actually further improve our passing percentage in the board examinations. This I will take, I think, play a pivotal role in the board examinations. Now that they have a state-of-the-art facilities through the generous donations of CDM Plus. I would like also to take this opportunity to express our gratitude to an IITian, Sir Japhet, for facilitating this endeavor. Thank you very much. I think this is a best example of an alumnus really paying back forward to the university. And to the entire CDM Plus, bigyan natin sila ng napakalakas na loob. Allow me also to take this opportunity to thank UST. Our director is here with us. UST is among the strongest partner of the Mindanao State University, the Institute of Technology. We are so lucky that in terms of project proposal, if it's from MSU IIT, doesn't have to go through that eagle eyes, because I think we have already developed that kind of relationship. I think also attributing to the very productive faculty members who are also on time in their project. So we are so grateful to the UST. The challenge now, I think, is how we can translate all this research output to actual use, either used by government instrumentalities or being commercialized, so that it can improve the industry's needs to improve their their products and services. So I think that's now the challenge, and I know that the USD is really asking not only MSU IIT but universities really to commercialize their research outputs, and we are working on that. In fact, just very recently, the cabinet has approved a framework that will enhance the enterprise ecosystem of the university. It is also worth acknowledging the role of the Commission on Higher Education, and while HORA is trying to articulate the need to design a bachelor program that will address the seeming dearth in IC design in the country, and perhaps the department through the Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs is with us this afternoon. We can look into if we can really develop a sort of a Bachelor of Science in IC design, something like that. I don't know. You are the experts. The university will be supportive, in this endeavor. If should you want to consider expanding, the absorptive capacity of the university with respect to the demands of IC design. To all of you, especially the microelectronic laboratories, congratulations for this milestone. I hope this will inspire more industries to collaborate with academic institutions in putting up corporate laboratories. In the first world countries, like for example in Japan, the industry academic collaboration is very much built in the university. You see corporate laboratories of Mazda, corporate laboratories of Toyota, so on and so forth, in the universities. That's why it is not difficult for them to commercialize their research output because it's already built in the ecosystem. And it is also my hope that industry will not only fund initiatives like this, but will also fund research. Will also put up investment on R&D. Because the current landscape of the Philippines, so much of our R&D are government-funded research. A small portion of that are really coming from the industry. And hope this kind of initiative, this will inspire industry, and we can multiply this kind of initiative. Because I believe that this will address the gaps in our graduates, trying to bridge the gap between practice and theories. We don't want our student when they graduate, instead of them being ready for the work, they are yet to be trained by their employer. I think that should not be the relationship of the industry and the academic institutions. We should be sending graduates who are already ready for the job, not for students who are yet to be trained for the job. So we hope to see that our graduates are not only ready for the present job, but also ready for the future job. I think that's a challenge for us in the university, Mr. President, for us to really recalibrate our curriculum so that you don't have to train them, so that when they go to the work on the first day, they know what to do. And this kind of experiment or this kind of laboratory will actually address that problem, because they will now see, they will now be exposed to an industry level environment. That is the kind of environment that they will be exposed when they will be employed. And we hope that more of them will be employed by your company. I know I have met some of them when I visited your office. I met some of our graduates. Are they still with the company, Japan? Okay, so we're happy. We will be sending more. So having said that, to the Vice Chancellors and to all of you, my dear colleagues, good afternoon, and once again, congratulations to the Metropolitans.
Thank you very much, our dear Chancellor, especially for expressing your support in the possible opening of a new degree. So I really hope to see that in the future. So the existence of this laboratory has indeed solidified the linkage between PLUS and MSU IIT. Now here, also to give a message on behalf of the Regional Director of the Commission of Higher Education, Region 10, is Dr. Freddy Bernal. Please welcome the Chief Administrative Officer, Dr. Desiderio Apat III.
Thank you, Steph. Professor Sidney Tukaran, the Chancellor of MSU IIT, Mr. Haitiki Takamatsu, the President of the Philippine Lick and United Solutions Incorporated, the Vice Chancellor for Research, Dr. F. Prime Idilio, sir. Of course, my former professor and currently the Dean of the College of Engineering, Professor Maria Sheila Ramos, Professor Jefferson Hora, the head of the Center for Integrated Circuit Design, Engineer Roy Sagrado, the DUST the Norte Provincial Director, other school officials present here today, engineering faculty and personnel, guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. On behalf of our Regional Director, Dr. Freddy T. Bernal, who could not join us today because of the parallel activity happening in the office to discuss the omnibus guidelines and the issuance of special order with all the school registrars in the region. I wish to convey this message of support and felicitation for the successful launching of your PLUS Instructional and Research Laboratory. Indeed, this remarkable achievement of MSU IIT brings another honor and pride to our region, being the first of its kind pioneering laboratory dedicated to microelectronics IC design. A few years ago, I had a chance of personally meeting Bill Gates of the Philippines, Engineer Diosdado Itanato. You know him? I believe, especially EC students know him. When he visited Cagayan de Oro to receive his honoris causa degree in Doctor of Science at Xavier University. Engineer Dado Banatao is a well-known Filipino engineer who developed the first 10 megabit Ethernet CMOS with silicon coupler, data link control, and transceiver chip, the first system logic chip set for IBM's PCXT and the PCAT and the local bus concept, and the first Windows graphics accelerator chip for personal computers. With the presence of your PLUS Instructional and Research Laboratory, I do believe you will be producing more successful Filipino microelectronics IC design engineers like Dr. Banatao. I could also foresee that Dr. Jeff Hora would be the next Dr. Banatao because of his remarkable achievements in microelectronics IC design. I have seen him in social media receiving various awards in the national level. Congratulations, Sir Jeff. Before I end, please allow me to congratulate the administrators and faculty of the College of Engineering of MSU IIT for always bringing its name as one of the top performing engineering schools in the PRC for examinations. CHED will always assure you of our continuous support, especially your plan of coming up a new degree program. We will work on it, and please count on our 100% support for the passing of that program in the level of CHED. Of course, they have to be subject to the policy standards and guidelines. So our partnership with MSUIT will always be here, especially in your goal to become the center of excellence for integrated circuit design in the Philippines. Congratulations once again and more power. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ambag, for those wonderful words. And again, solidifying the support for this new program. So now, let us hear from our guests at PLUS. Here to give a special message is the President of the Philippine Linked and United Solutions Incorporated, Mr. Hideki Takamatsu.
Hello. Translator. Taro kayo. Miss Universe ng translation. Thank you very much.
ただいまご紹介に預かりました日本のシーリア、フィリピンのプラスの代表の高松でございます。今日という日を迎えられて本当に嬉しく思います。
I am Takamatsu, the representative of CEDIA in Japan and PLUS in the Philippines, and I'm very happy to be here today.
今までリト・ガラン総長ですとかジェフ先生にですね、多くの方にご支持とご協力いただきまして、この研究室の開所まで進めることができました。大変ありがとうございます。
Thanks to the support and cooperation of Chancellor Tito Galan and Dr. Jeff, Dr. Ramos, our Vice Chancellors, everyone here, the DOST and Jed, and we have, because of this, we have been able to proceed to the opening of the laboratory. Thank you very much again.
私たちが携わっています半導体設計というのはですね、技術の進化もすごく早くてですね、微細化すればするほどこの設計者の絶対数も足りなくなる世界ですので、今やもうプロセス濃度が3ナノですとか2ナノという世界になっています。しかも私たちはですね、その中でも日本で今自動車に関わる半導体全般の設計からですね、世界で一番有名であろうスマートフォンのカメラモジュール、こういったものですとか、あと低電力で超高速のインターフェースデバイス、こういったものを非常に技術的には最先端でですね、かつエキサイティングなターゲットというところの設計開発を行っています。
The semiconductor design and development in which we are engaged in is a world in which technology evolves rapidly. And as the technology gets smaller and smaller, the absolute number of designers becomes more and more scarce. Moreover, we are designing and developing very technologically advanced and exciting targets, such as semiconductors for automobiles in general, camera modules for the world's most famous smartphones, and low-power, ultra-high-speed interface devices.
これから半導体業界に入っていただきたい、どんどん入っていただきたいと思っていますが、そういった学生の皆さんに、半導体産業についてお話しするところとしましては、まず一つ目に、誰でも志せるということ。半導体業界はですね、専門性が非常に高い、電気機械、情報科学、物理、数学とあらゆる分野の知識が必要でですね、半導体を専門で学んでいる学生というのはごく一部の半導体関係の研究室に所属している学生くらいなんですね。ですので、そのためですね、新卒採用段階では半導体に興味があればですね、どんな分野で理系やっている学生でも志望できる業界になっています。
The semiconductor industry is highly specialized and requires knowledge in all fields, including electricity, mechanics, information, chemistry, physics, and mathematics. Therefore, the semiconductor industry requires a high level of expertise and knowledge in all fields of electricity, mechanics, information, chemistry, physics, and mathematics. Therefore, at the stage of the new graduate recruitment, any science student with an interest in semiconductors can apply for a position in this industry.
そして2つ目、これは将来性が非常に高いということ。半導体はですね、あらゆる電子機器に使われてますんで、そしてその上に IT 技術が成り立っています。 半導体業界はですね、市場が非常に大きいというところから、半導体がないと、その上で成り立っているスマホやパソコン、あるいは情報通信技術などの IT 関連が成り立ってませんので、必要不可欠な業界でもあります。今、IT 業界や情報通信技術などがさらに発展してますので、それに伴って半導体の需要がどんどん高まっている途中ですから、こういうことから半導体業界はこれからも非常に将来性が高い業界になると思います。
So that was the first, and the second, it has a high future potential. Semiconductors are used in all kinds of electronic devices, and IT technology is based on them. So the semiconductor industry has a very large market. Without semiconductors, IT-related products such as smartphones, PCs, and information and communication technology wouldn't be possible, so the industry is indispensable. In addition, the IT industry and information and telecommunications technology are currently undergoing further developments, and demand for semiconductors are increasing accordingly. These factors indicate that the semiconductor industry is an industry with a very promising future.
はい、さらに3つ目、競争力が低い。これは半導体業界がですね、専門性が高いので、他の業界から転職が難しい、非常に常に技術者が不足の状態なんですね。なので、半導体の理解が難しいこと、働き方とか専門分野を活かせるのかを明確にですね、イメージしていくことが多いので、半導体業界は市場の大きさの割に知名度が非常に低いと。そのために競争率が低いので、半導体に興味のある新卒理学生に特におすすめの業界です。
Third, the industry is not very competitive because the semiconductor industry is highly specialized. It is difficult to change jobs from one industry to another, and there's always a shortage of engineers. In addition, it is often difficult to understand semiconductors and to have a clear image of how to work and whether one can make use of one's major field of study. The semiconductor industry is not well known for the size of its market. For this reason, the competition is low, and the industry is especially recommended for new graduate of science students interested in semiconductors.
そして最後に年収が高い。全体的に見ても給与水準は半導体業界高いです。これはですね、電子機学を広く一般的に普及していて、非常に需要が高いことであったりとか、やっぱり他業界よりも業務内容に高い専門性が求められるからだと思っています。入社から相応に勉強は必要ですけども、高い給与水準はモチベーションにもつながると思っています。
And finally, the industry has a high annual salary. Overall, the salary is the level of salary is high. This can be attributed to the fact that electronic devices are widely used in the general public and are in extremely high demand, and that the nature of the work requires a higher degree of specialization than in other industries. Although it is necessary to study hard after joining the company, I believe that the high salary level is also a motivating factor.
はい、私たちの会社経営の信条としまして、地域社会の貢献というのがあります。私たちが事業活動を行うことによってですね、その地域で新たな雇用を生んで、エンジニアを育成して、そして長期的にその地で根付かせながら活躍させていくことを掲げて事業活動を行っていますので、ここイリガン市のでもですね、そういった意味で貢献できることを、長期的に貢献できていることを願っております。
One of the principles of our company management is to contribute to the local community. Through our business activities, we aim to create new jobs in the local community, train engineers, and allow them to take root and play an active role in the area for the long term. We hope to be able to contribute in that sense here in Iligan City. Thank you very much.
ありがとうございました。高松秀樹さん。Thank you so much for your dedication to help our future electronics engineers prepare for the competitive industry. And now we have come to the most important part of this event. But before that, we are to give our tokens of appreciation to our guests. I'd like to call in our Chancellor and our Vice Chancellors, a representative from Commission on Higher Education, from DOST, Dr. Jeff Hora, to award this token of appreciation to the President of the Philippine Linked and United Solutions Incorporated, Mr. Hideki Takamatsu. Aye.
Thank you very much. This is a surprise attack. Wala ko yung preparation, sorry kayo. So I have to speak in Bisaya or English. So originally it is not included in the order of program, right? But I'd be happy to talk here. Thank you very much for this opportunity. So as mentioned by the several speakers, it is really nice for people or graduates of a certain university to give back because we have learned a lot of things from our alma mater. So I graduated here in 1998. I took up BSCCE, and right after graduation, 2 days later I went to Manila because it was my flight to Japan. So 2 days after the graduation. So I had no chance to take the board board exam reviewer, and I couldn't take the board exam for ECE, but it was okay. So because I got the Mokusho scholarship from the CHED of Japan, so I was very lucky with the backing of that time I was backed by professor in biology. He now departed. Oclaret, yeah, Dr. Oclaret. Yeah, I was backed by him because he just came back from Japan that time. He just took up doctor's course. So, but of course, I have to pass the exams and the interview with the backing of newly succeeded doctor, Dr. Oclaret. I got the scholarship, and I studied 4 years, and then I worked in Japan for under 14 years. So in all, I lived and worked in Japan, studied in Japan for 18 years. And then I decided to come back. I miss my country. I decided to come back in 2015. And that time, after a year later, I was introduced to Takamatsu-san in 2016. So we had some kind of cooperation, and then he hired me as corporate secretary back then in 2017. And so last year, I guess, when I talked with Dr. Jeff, may discussion, and also yung nag-hire namin si Mimi, a lot of people from MSUIT. We hired around 12, 14, and now we are trying to hire 20 more engineers from MSUIT. And let me, in behalf of our president, let me tell you that we have a plan to increase to 300 engineers after 2 years. And after 5 years, we are planning to become 750 engineers in 5 years from now. So we really need your help. Yeah. So I've been discussing with Dr. Jeff, because he's been so he's worried where to get the funding for the licenses of Cadence. So I opened up with our president, and he was so surprised how cheap is the the licenses, no? So hopefully, our president will agree to sponsor. But yeah, a little pushing for. But this will be a joint. Okay. So this will be a cooperation between PLUS and MSUIT. I want my alma mater to be the center of semiconductor in the Philippines. Okay. So we have great work to do ahead of us in the future, but with this kind of collaboration, sometimes our president is kind of concerned, no? Could we implement the 750 engineers after 5 years? It's possible if ADI and other TI could do their job, can manage well their 1,000 engineers, we could do that. And then, of course, we have to train them at the university level. So by the time they go into our industry or in class, they're also already well versed with the engineering class. So with that, thank you very much, SAT, Sacho, and my colleagues in class. I also would like to give our token of appreciation from Japan. First from Japan, okay. Wow. When you come back to Manila, we'll go to Baguio. Chancellor. Or in Japan, if you have President, we have so this is a hammer that CIDIA is a mother corporation in Japan has produced and give to his employees for the 20th anniversary. This is a hammer with the CIDIA name.
Oh, very nice.
And a ball pen.
It's a symbol of the symbol of collaboration.
Yes.
Plus and MSUIT. It's only good for a week. The number of documents that I signed on a
If you
daily
can
basis.
demo, take it is.
Important part of this event, the ceremonial turnover of the new CIDEA Plus Microelectronics Laboratory.